Hi, welcome to Kincardine United Church's Fireside Chat. Now, this is the digital space where I reflect on current events from a faith perspective, mixing in some humor and song and some prayer. Thanks to the well-practiced skills of Judy Zarubik on the other side of this screen, this Fireside Chat is recorded while she makes the technology flow smoothly. Once recorded, Terry Boyd uploads it all to our YouTube channel where you found us. Thank you both. I couldn't do this without either of you. Now, on this first day of May, we notice more pets are free to enjoy the great outdoors. And that reality can have its drawbacks, though. Indoors, we humans have our own struggles. Hopefully, though, we're done with all those April showers. As creation awakes from its winter slumber, neighborhood cats will be seeking comfortable adventures. However, don't even think about bringing wild birds indoors. Through all the stresses of spring's return, the reason we Canadians are so nice is easily explained. Once a year, on the sixth full moon, Canadians gather beneath the stars to perform a ritual that sucks out all the meanness and cruelty and places it into Canadian geese. So perhaps you should shelter indoors so you don't have to worry about that threat. I know it's a subtle visual. In planning this fireside chat, I realized that this would be the last one before Mother's Day. I would like to take that as my theme today. Here's an imagined dialogue between God and an angel during the act of creation. When God created woman, he was working late on the sixth day. An angel came by and asked, "Why spend so much time on her?" The Lord answered, "Have you seen all the specifications I have to meet to shape her? She must function on all kinds of situations. She must be able to embrace several kids at the same time. She must have a hug that can heal anything from a bruised knee to a broken heart. Not only that, but she must do all of that with only two hands. Yet she also has to cure herself when sick while working 18 hours a day." The angel was impressed. Just two? It's impossible. And this is the standard model? The angel came closer and touched the woman. "But you made her so soft, Lord." "She is soft," said the Lord, "but I have made her strong. You can't imagine what she can endure and overcome." "Can she think?" the angel asked. The Lord answered, "Not only can she can reason and negotiate." The angel touched her cheeks. "Lord, it seems this creation is leaking. Have you put too many burdens on her?" "She is not leaking. It is a tear," was the reply. "What's it for?" asked the angel. God said, "Tears are her way of expressing grief, her doubts, her love, along with her loneliness, her suffering, and her pride." This made a big impression on the angel. "Lord, you are amazing. You thought of everything. Woman is indeed marvelous." God responded, "Indeed, she is. She has strength that amazes a man. She can handle trouble and carry heavy burdens. She holds happiness, love, and opinions. She smiles when she feels like screaming. She sings when she feels like crying, cries when happy, and laughs when afraid. She fights for what she believes in. Her love is unconditional. Her heart is broken when a next of kin or a friend dies, but she finds the strength to get on with life. The angel asked, "So is she a perfect being?" Creator God replied, "No, she has just one drawback. She often forgets what she is worth." Now, if you are female, I'm willing to bet that some of this matches your own experience of yourself, but some of it seems far too fanciful to believe. Indeed, you might wonder because too many Christian churches treat women as somehow less than men. However, Jesus respected women and treated them with respect. He affirmed their humanity, their input, and their wisdom. For example, Jesus didn't tell his mother to be silent when she asked him to help her friends at a wedding by making sure they had enough wine for the week-long celebrations. Jesus also didn't tell the woman at the well that she had far too long a chain of serial failed relationships, which would make her worthless and unlovable. Instead, she was the one who told her whole community about Jesus and about his way of self-giving love. Jesus protected women, empowered women, honored women publicly, released the voice of women, confided in women, was funded by women, celebrated women by name, learned from women, respected women, and spoke of women as examples to follow. It's our turn to follow where Jesus leads. In fact, without women preachers, we would have no knowledge of the resurrection. Mary Magdalene needed all the gifts God gave her. Women are tender and fierce, soft and strong, fragile and courageous, sometimes all in one day. And sadly, that frightens too many men. See, the church never burned witches, it burned women. This image of a crone is described by author Jean Sonoda Bolin this way. A crone is a woman who has found her voice. She knows that silence is interpreted as consent. This is a quality that makes older women feared. It is not the innocent voice of a child who says, "The emperor has no clothes," but the fierce truthfulness of the crone that is the voice of reality. Both the innocent child and the crone are seen through the illusions, denial, or spin to the truth. But the crone knows about deception and its consequences, and it angers her. Her fierceness springs from the heart, gives her courage, makes her a force to be reckoned with. No wonder women were burned for pulling aside the curtain covering the rot beneath too many of society's assumptions. One of the curtains women have longed to pull back is that experiences of women differ from the experiences of men. Consider this short video about how women's bodies can powerfully affect their well-being.
Why are girls' health never at 100%? If it's not her period, it's a headache.
If you really want to know the answer, it's because chronic gynecological conditions, things like endometriosis, PCOS, PMDD, are surprisingly quite common and affect hundreds of millions of women and can be debilitating. But for multiple reasons, these conditions are misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, not diagnosed, or dismissed, and as a result, undertreated, or worse, given the wrong treatment. A lot of this is down to the fact that women were not required to be included in clinical research up until 1993. For example, women are more likely to die from heart attacks, react poorly to prescription drugs, or have their pain dismissed by doctors. Much of modern medicine is based on research performed exclusively on male bodies, and the effects of this research gap can sometimes be deadly. The efficacy, the dosage, the side effects of many drugs were never tested on women. So maybe the question shouldn't be why are women never at 100%, but instead why are we so bad as a society at figuring out what's going on with women's bodies and treating it?
It's hard for me to hear that ignorant but too common comment by a man about women at the beginning of the video. It is a perception rooted in casual ignorance. Sadly, as the doctor said, our society devalues women while trying to put them on an unrealistic pedestal. Even the fanciful creation dialogue at the beginning of this very fireside chat carried too much of that unhealthy and unrealistic idealization of women, regardless of the nuggets of truth contained within. Consider that reggae pioneer Bob Marley replied when asked if there was a perfect woman. Who cares about perfection? Even the moon is not perfect, it's full of craters. The sea is incredibly beautiful, but salty and dark in the depths. The sky is always infinite, but often cloudy. So everything that is beautiful isn't perfect, it's special. Therefore, every woman can be special to someone. Stop being perfect, but try to be free and live, doing what you love, not wanting to impress others. In the United Church, we often call Mother's Day Christian Family Sunday. The same variety we celebrate in women is also reflected in families. There are all kinds of families. What is your family like? Like this interracial family, perhaps? Or more like this with two dads? Or two moms like my youngest daughter and daughter-in-law? Or with a single dad heading the household? Or headed by a single Muslim mom? Or interracial but headed by a grandmother? Or heterosexual couple who adopted? Or a larger family with a child with mobility aids? Or maybe a family with no children at all? Or perhaps a multi-generational family under one roof? Or could it be yours is one of two men? If you could draw your family, what would appear? Regardless of society's expectations, we build relationships that matter for us and to us. Here is a powerful story of how those relationships can also challenge us. The next video carries a powerful message about how healthy families create powerful connections that shape each child, not to mention the parents, in unexpected ways. Family life can seem like a long chain of challenge after frustration, after fight, after overwhelming fatigue. However, it is worth it.
If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would you choose?
Kylie Minogue.
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh God, I wouldn't have a clue.
I know, straight up. Paul Hogan.
Kim Kardashian.
No.
I'd like to have dinner with Justin Bieber.
What? He's not coming to my house.
I'd have Bob Hawke.
Dave Hughes.
Barry Humphries.
Jimi Hendrix.
People who have made a difference in the world, maybe Nelson Mandela at the dinner table.
I don't know what he's going to say, I'm scared.
If you could have dinner with anyone in the world, who would you choose?
Probably our whole family, like our whole extended family. Mum and Dad. Mum and Dad. Does it have to be a celebrity? Could it be family?
We love it. We talk about how school is. We ask Mum and Dad how their day was.
Family.
Yeah, Mum and Dad.
Family. Who would you like to have dinner with?
They just want to be with us while they're eating food, which is pretty cool.
They see us above everything. I'm going to get...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a message in it for me.
Yes.
we having for dinner?
Now, I need to be clear. There are families which would not achieve this result because there is an abusive environment. And abuse, whether child abuse or spousal abuse or any other kind of abuse, is never okay. Children and families are not our possessions to control by dictatorial violence or by cutting words. Instead, as those who follow the way of Jesus, families should be incubators of love, no matter how challenging that may prove to be. When there is healthy, mutual, self-giving love, moms be like, I feel like a failure. Meanwhile, our kids be like, thank goodness you're my mom. The mother's job is to teach her children not to need her anymore. The hardest part of that job is accepting success. Don't get me wrong, though, as I'm not in any way diminishing the nonstop work that a mom is expected to endure. I think this short video demonstrates the reality of a mother's daily routine surprisingly well. See, on the other end of the screen is Judy's Rubik trying to scramble to find the video to which I'm referring, because there are 4 videos today, and it makes it difficult, because she, like any mom, has a full day. So let me describe the video. What it shows is, in about 20 seconds, all of the variety of things that most moms have to do. And it's edited together so it feels like boom, 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 like that. And the video passes by in a blink. However, while there are men who have taken on the role of stay-at-home parents, like I did for 8 wonderful years, the majority of households look to mothers to schedule, to organize, to be the primary child giver and keep the household running smoothly. Despite all that, women are only granted the right to vote in Canada in 1917. If women want a career, actually, let's watch this video, because what it does is it shows how women approach problem solving in a way that is so different from men. Pardon the technical difficulties. With 4 videos, it makes it complicated. Here we go.
2, 3.
Notice that took about half the time for the women, because the women helped each other and they were organized. So in our society, There are so many obstacles for women. As I said, the right to vote in Canada in 1917. And if women want a career, the obstacle course they face looks like cluttered with household chores. If women want equity, they face what TV star Suzanne Summers did. She writes, I was the first woman in television who asked to be paid commensurate with the men. All the men being paid 10 to 15 times more than me. So my contract was up. I renegotiated and I was fired for asking. In fact, all women can celebrate their 50th anniversary. Oh, this is what it means to be a mom. Moms be like, I feel like a failure. Meanwhile, our kids be like, thank goodness you're my mom. And then we'll notice that a mother's job is to teach her children not to need her anymore. And the hardest part of that job is accepting success. So we go back to the vote being given only in 1917 in Canada. And then this is the obstacle race. Notice the men have nothing in front of them, but the women have all of that in it, still having to run the race. If women follow what Suzanne Summers did, they will get fired for asking for equity. In fact, all women can celebrate their 50th anniversary. This is the 50th anniversary of a woman being allowed to get a credit card without the signature of a man. To the mother stretched too thin, you don't have to get it all done today. I know it doesn't feel that way, but things can wait. You're pouring from an empty cup. It's okay to fill up your cup. Here's what Josephine Clark writes in her book, What the Heart Carries. In these heavy and transformative times, I carry a handful of things to remain strong, and one of them is this. I think about the women in our world who have no choice. My heart, and always in the back of my mind, is the knowledge that many women have lived lives that they merely endured, but were unable, for one reason or another, to thrive in. In every inch of my own life, I strive to salute them with my efforts. The thought of them has the power to dissolve any listlessness or fear. To consider my tears mere water, the better to grow my strength with, to get over myself, thin skin and all, and do something useful with my life. So while I may be tender, I am also dedicated. I will roll myself out of bed. I will forge ahead. I will lend a hand and a voice. I will listen. I will notice moments of joy and fully inhabit them. I will gather around the fire. I will look for the silver lining like I am mining for gold beneath the deepest and most abundant earth. And no matter what happens next, no matter how crazy the world becomes, because in my face, I see the face of so many women, and that is enough to pump new and stronger blood into this heavy heart of mine. In fact, it is often because women tend to cultivate relationships which foster community support, finding ways to collaborate instead of competing. But a better way is discovered to achieve a common goal. And that was the video of the men and the women competing and getting through the hoop. You see, I believe that women have so much to give and continually have been giving, and we need to pay attention to that. To me, that's what Mother's Day is all about. I want to share an imaginative poem with you that was written by Caitlin Hardy Shelter, which reflects on the Divine Mother. As I read her poem, close your eyes and imagine what she is observing and describing. Imagine the intricate connections of the divine. God is a mother. And with that sentence, the world stops. The world always stops when women and divine commingle. As if the feminine dilutes the miraculous, when in reality it embodies it. When Jesus turns water to wine, they clap, but when women turn breasts to milk, they cringe. A broken man's body is celebrated each Sunday, while a broken woman's body is just hidden away. And it's no wonder that mother is a word used by men to demonize those who don't claim the name and weaponized to shame those who step out of line. Because their ideal woman plays the role of nurturer and silencer. In the pews, built and led by them, but when God becomes mother, she is neither quiet or compliant. She leads confidently, questions authority. She commands respect, which might be the problem for Mother God. Did not gather us up carelessly, but took her time with it. She fed us milk, birthed our souls, and broke her body. And the permanence can be uncomfortable. And to disentangle God from motherhood is impossible. But to disengage God from womanhood is sinful. Because seeing God as mother is one step closer to seeing God in me. And it's in that I am truly born again. Thank you for spending this fireside chat with me. Since I will be taking 2 weeks of study leave beginning on May 13th, the next fireside chat will be recorded on Thursday, May 30th. I look forward to spending more time with you then. Goodbye.